Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Joseph Benavidez to defeat Davison Figueiredo. And I'm here to talk about Said Nurmagomedov versus Muin Gafarov. Nurmagomedov is 17-3, 31 years old, and he's got 1 inch of height and 2 inches of reach over 27-year-old Gafarov, who is 18-5. Said, he's been around the UFC now for some time. We've gotten to see a lot of him, and he's a very good fighter. I guess I'd say he's underrated at this point after that loss to Jonathan Martinez. But he's still a very dangerous fighter, has a lot of great victories already, and he's shown he can win every which way, even at the UFC level. Altogether, 17 wins. He's got 4 by knockout, 5 by submission, and 8 by decision. And his 3 losses all come by decision. He lost to Raoni Barcelos, Jonathan Martinez, which, again, it was close, although I did pick Martinez to win. But he definitely lost that fight. And Magomed Bibulatov before he got to the UFC. So Said Nurmagomedov, he's only lost to really good fighters. And Raoni, the guy to beat him in the UFC legitimately, with no controversy anyway, he did it by neutralizing him with his wrestling. Raoni was able to control him and, against the cage, whatever, slow him down. But Said Nurmagomedov is a guy who is well-rounded, and in particular, he's dangerous everywhere and dynamic everywhere. He has a dynamic finish over Ricardo Ramos, spinning back kick. We've also seen him get Mark Striegel out of there, Striegel. He has dynamic submissions as well. That guillotine over Cody Stamann, it's pretty dynamic submission. In addition to the ninja choke over Saidukub Kakramanov. Kakramanov was all over him, dominating that fight. And Said kept himself safe and then attacked on an opportunity, pounced on an opportunity, locked up that ninja choke, and really had to fight for it, but he got it. And I think it's a testament to a lot of different traits of his: composure, durability first and foremost, and grappling defense altogether. Not really wrestling defense. He lost that battle, but he kept himself safe and found an opportunity and was one of those guys, probably one of the few guys who was dangerous enough to get Kakramanov out of there, and Said did it. Great comeback victory. He's a guy that can also fight hard for a decision, as we've seen in some of the losses that I covered, but also beat Douglas Silva de Andrade, very underrated fighter, beat him by decision. Said, he's just a very well-rounded fighter who I think people are going to start to realize he's a high-level, well-rounded fighter. Muin Gafarov is not so well-rounded as far as his victories go. He's only got 1 decision in his 18 wins. He's got 17 finishes. This guy is a seek and destroy fighter. 10 knockouts, 7 submissions, and just 1 decision. And his 5 losses all come via decision, and they're all to good fighters. So this guy is a finisher. When he wins, he's destroying his opponents, and when his opponents win, he's not being destroyed, which is just great for a guy like him because it keeps him in the fight, which only gives him more opportunities to hit that kill switch or, submit the guy or whatever. Muin Gafarov, he has 5 losses, as I said, to John Castaneda, Chad Enhelger, John Lineker, Kevin Bellingham, and Reese McLaren. All good fighters. 3 of those were in ONE FC, and when you don't get finished to John Lineker, it means you're tough as all fuck, and he took it in that fight. And then his more recent 2 losses are fights in which we saw him distinctly fade, I'd say, especially in the Chad Enhelger fight, but also against John Castaneda. That was his UFC debut. He had his fair share of success against both guys and was very much in that fight. But he's a guy that I think when the kill doesn't come so easily, there's a tendency for him to fade and, be less dangerous down the stretch. As far as his danger goes, he's got serious power. I'm talking about straight up overhand power, but he's also got a spinning back kick in the LFA. Diego Silva got him out of there in round 3. Looked really good doing that. He has a Sambo background, but he's not a guy that's going to use it wisely anyway. He's a guy that probably should use it to be a boring fighter. Try to, use all that strength, because he's a fucking monster, this guy. If he can secure top position, then he'd be better off slowing things down, probably have better cardio down the stretch. But on the flip side, he wouldn't have those 17 finishes, I guess, either. So it's a give and a take, but this guy, he's chosen one path, and it's going through his opponent and doing so, always getting a finish. He's a seek and destroy guy. So I expect him to come out of the gate and have a really strong round one against Said Nurmagomedov. Not saying he's even going to win it. I'm just saying it's not going to be easy. But I think Said's not going to get finished, and I think he's going to get better in general down the stretch. I think Said would largely win on with a striking battle, striking from the outside, being the faster fighter and more comfortable moving backwards. Said's dynamic, throws shit every which way. I'd say he's not as dangerous as Muin Gafarov, but he's still a very dangerous guy in every way. Like I said, very dynamic. He's gotten some high-level finishes in the UFC. I know he's dangerous, but 17 out of 18 finishes doesn't lie. Gafarov's probably the more dangerous guy. Still, I'm going with Said Nurmagomedov, and I'm going to trust their records and say he wins by decision. Said Nurmagomedov, I bet on him by decision at plus 210. A few sprinkles on that because I think it is his primary path to victory. And now I'll wait for him to lock up a submission and be the first guy to get Gafarov out of there. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my other videos.